Hey everyone, this is my second update, and today I'm going to be talking about my MEPS experience. It was definitely an experience I won't forget, but it wasn't bad at all. I had already watched a lot of videos on it and people giving tips and tricks and stuff, and they were all very helpful. First of all, I will say everyone said MEPS was cold, and they were right. So I had worn sweatpants and a long sleeve shirt that was perfect. Plus, you need to wear something that you can take off and put back on very quickly. So I wrote a list. This is my list. So I can tell you guys in order how MEPS went. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at the list. So when we first got there, it was around 4:45 a.m. and I didn't get to stay in the hotel. My recruiter just drove me up there the morning of. It was me and one other girl. So they tell you line up, and they're yelling as soon as you get there. Line up, line up, line up. When we go inside the building, you put your bag through this conveyor belt, just like at the airport. They're gonna scan it, so don't bring any weapons, anything sharp. Then you have to walk through a metal detector. After that, you go into a room, put your bag in a little cubby hole, and they're gonna tell you to go to your liaison. So for me and the other girl, we went to the Air Force liaison. Once you're in that office, they'll give you a name tag that has your last name, first name, and what branch you're going into. Then they tell you to go to another room. I think it was room 186 for us. They do electronic fingerprints. Um, and then we had to go sit and wait in this hallway. Waited there for about 10 minutes. And I had to use the restroom so bad, but I didn't really want to ask. Like, I was kind of scared to ask. And I knew I was going to have to take a urine test, and I didn't know when. So I'm like, I don't want to use it now, then I can't go later, so I'm just hold it. That was a mistake. So, after sitting in the hallway, they called us into a room, and we began to take our ASVAB test, and it was computer based. So there were 10 parts to the test, and that was the longest test. But it really, I want to say it wasn't that hard, but it was kind of tricky. Towards the end, they asked a lot of questions about cars. That was the mechanical section, so I don't think I did too high on that part. And then the very last section is like puzzle pieces. It's like you're building a puzzle. So that was kind of difficult too. Plus, your time starts to run out, and they give you scratch paper and a pencil. But if I would have had a calculator, I could have finished that test a lot faster. And I was actually kind of scared because out of the group that I was in, I was the first person to finish my test. And I was not the first person to start taking it. So I'm like, uh-oh, I finished kind of early. I don't know. But when I was leaving out, the lady told me I did well and stuff like that. She didn't tell me my score though, and I didn't ask. So once you finish your test, let's see. Okay, once you finish your test, they're going to tell you to go to medical. So once you get to medical, they give you a folder, which is literally is all your health, everything that has to do with your health is on that form. So, I sat there for a while in the medical center, and they checked my eyesight, my hearing, my blood pressure, my heart rate. Then I had to go into this room. You can only have on your bra and undies when you go in that room. Take off everything else. They're going to get your height and your weight. Then I had the one-on-one meeting with the doctor. He was an Indian guy, so it's kind of hard to understand him, but he was so nice, and he's really, really old. So he's going to ask you everything from do you have a tattoo to have you ever smoked weed? Do you often drink? Everything like that. Um, he's going to check your feet, make sure you have an arch. So make sure you wash your feet the night before because that could be bad. Then he'll check your ears. Make sure you clean your ears before you go because one of the girls in our group, um, she failed the hearing test because she had too much wax. So I was like, I didn't even know that was possible, but okay. Then he asked me if I had any tattoos. I have one tattoo. It's back here on my shoulder. But he was not allowed to look at that until there was another female nurse in the room with us. Then he'll show you his watch and he'll say, do you have any birthmarks bigger than the face of my watch? Do you have any scars longer than about that, about the size of like a pin top or something? So if you have scars bigger than that or birthmarks bigger than that, tell him about it, and he'll take a look at that when the female nurse is in there with you all. So after the one-on-one time, oh yeah, not sure if this is for all branches or just the Air Force, but when I had my one-on-one with the doctor, he had me stand up and read a story out loud to him. Simple, it's not a lot of big words or anything like that. And he didn't make me feel uncomfortable. It was very easy to read. Just speak clearly, try not to stutter, try not to hesitate, pronounce all your words correctly and loudly, and you'll pass that part. It's simple. So after that one-on-one meeting with him, I went to take my urine test. So when you go and take the urine test, it looks like a normal public restroom, and there was other girls standing in line, and they have like a little desk. So you get a cup, then you go to the desk. No, I'm sorry. You get the cup, then you go into the stall, and the door is wide open, and there is a female nurse in there. She's gonna make sure you don't tamper with your urine or anything, but she's not gonna be staring you down. It wasn't awkward for me at all. Mind you, I had been holding it since 4:45 a.m., so I was ready to go, regardless of who was in there. But she'll glance at you, look over there, make sure you're not doing anything, and it's done. It's easy. It's nothing to be ashamed about or anything. The nurse that was in there was really old, so I felt like she could be my grandma, so it was not a big deal. After you do that, do not wash your hands. You have to go back to the counter. Yes, I know, germs. But you go back to the counter with that cup. They pour it into another bottle, label it with your name, and they seal it. And then you can pour the rest out, flush the toilet, wash your hands, and leave. Then we had to go back into a room, me and the other girls, strip down, this time all the way naked, put on a gown where your back will be out, but you can kind of hold it shut because it's going to be so cold. Then one at a time, you go back into the room with the doctor when you had your one-on-one meeting, but this time the female nurse is in there with you all, and he's going to check your breast, he'll check your spine, your breathing, tell you to inhale, exhale. He will check, well, in there he looked at my tattoos, my birthmarks, and then he'll check your private areas just to make sure you are a female, make sure you don't have any STDs, warts. I don't know what he looked for, but it's really fast. He's kind of like playing peekaboo. Okay, look, okay, put it back down, you're good. You leave out, it's nothing. And then we did group exercises. So it was me and 3 other females. We each had on bra and underwear. We stood in this big room. He had us do squats, duck walk, all at the same time. So it wasn't awkward. It wasn't like, ooh, she's staring at me. It wasn't like that. We all did it at the same time. You're going to move your wrist, move your fingers, and you'll do the same thing with your toes. He wants to make sure you can move without being in pain or stiffness, stuff like that. Then, I forgot to tell you all, the very first thing I did when I got in there was the breathalyzer test. So it's like a little straw, and the lady will hold it up to your mouth and you blow as hard as you can, and you can't stop until she tells you to stop. That's going to make sure you weren't tipsy the night before. And I also had blood drawn. Pretty sure you all can't see it. Let me see. Well, it's like a little dot right there. But that wasn't bad either. The doctor that gave me my shot was really, really nice. And he talks to you, and then, boop, before you know it, he shot you and you didn't even realize it. And they put a little band-aid up there. I had a little bit of bruising, but it was nothing. It doesn't even hurt now. I'm just waiting for it to clear all the way up. And if you have any piercings, go ahead and take them out before MEPS. That'll save you a lot of time. I had a lip ring. You can probably notice it in my first video. So I went ahead and took out my lip ring for MEPS. And the girl who went up there with me, she had a belly button ring, eyebrow, tongue, and lip. And she waited till we got there to take it out. So that was a huge mistake. So for any of you out there going to MEPS, do not be nervous. Just Do your research, watch videos before you go, wear something warm. Make sure you eat the morning of. We did not get to eat until a little afternoon, and I was starving. But the food was good. We had meatloaf, corn, green beans, mashed potatoes. They had everything from soda, Gatorade, water, and then you got to pick two snacks: fruit, cookies, brownies, or chips. Get to pick two. So it was a really good day. And once we finished everything, I went back into the Air Force Liaison office, and they had me lift a weight, and I lifted 100 pounds up over my head. So that was good. They'll sign your paper, and you're good to go. So I passed everything. So right now I'm just waiting to hear back from my recruiter, see what jobs I qualify for, and see what my ship out date is. So if you have any questions, just leave me a comment or send me a message, and please subscribe. If you subscribe to me, I'll subscribe to you. Alright guys, bye.